Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something really interesting, a document called a Contestation a Pre-Consulta.
Right, a response to pre-consultation.
Yeah,
This one's from the Office of Permits over in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
exactly. And our mission here is, well, to see what we can learn from it, especially if you're running a small business, maybe something mobile or remote.
Yeah, these kinds of specific rulings can have surprisingly broad implications.
So this case involves a gentleman named Jorge J. Gonzalez. He's a digital marketing consultant.
Okay.
And he basically went to the authorities with a question: does my business setup actually need a use permit?
And what was his setup exactly? That's usually key.
Right. So he works entirely at his clients' places, the Asociación de Comerciantes de la Placita de Santos. He uses his phone, email, the internet.
Standard tools.
But crucially, he doesn't have a leased office. And importantly, no dedicated office space within his home either.
Okay. So completely mobile. No fixed base of operations tied to a specific property he controls for work.
Precisely. So given that, he's not really using a specific property in the traditional sense for his office. Does he need that use permit in San Juan?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because typically, you look at Article 9.12 of Law 161/2019.
That's the main permits law?
Yeah, Puerto Rico's Unified Permits Law.
Huh.
And it generally says, if you occupy or use any property, structure, land, you need a use permit. So it's pretty broad.
So based on that, you'd naturally think, yeah, of course he needs one.
You'd absolutely expect that to be the answer.
Right.
Which makes the actual response here quite, well, interesting.
Okay, so what did they say?
Well, the finding from this pre-consultation, based strictly on the info Jorge gave them, is that a use permit is not required. For his specific digital marketing activity, as described, the document literally says, no se requiere de un permiso de uso.
Wow. Okay, no use permit needed. That's kind of huge, right?
It is. It really cuts against that common assumption.
It totally does. It just shows how those operational specifics, the how and where you work, can really change the game with regulations, especially now.
Absolutely. It's not just what you do, but the physical footprint, or lack thereof.
Makes you wonder how many people assume they need permits when maybe, just maybe, their setup is different enough.
It's like navigating this complex system. And sometimes there are these unexpected paths based on the fine print.
So that general rule wasn't the end of the story here. But, okay, this isn't like a free pass forever, right? There must be conditions.
Oh, absolutely not a free pass. The document is very clear on the caveats. Big ones.
Like what?
Well, first, this decision is tied exactly to how he operates now. If that changes, say he rents a small office or sets up a dedicated room at home.
Then he has to go back and ask again. Makes perfect sense.
Precisely. Yeah. The ruling is only valid for the situation described. And second, this is only about the use permit.
Okay. What else?
He still must check in with the San Juan Municipality Finance Department. That's about the patente.
The municipal license or tax. Right. Got it.
Yeah, that's a whole separate requirement. And it's crucial to understand this pre-consultation. It's not a final decision on a project. It doesn't mean anything is approved in a larger sense.
No green light for building anything or anything like that.
Exactly. It doesn't authorize any construction or imply any kind of broader project. I mean, it's just answering that one specific question about the use permit based on his current, very mobile operation.
So really, it's a very specific answer to a very specific question. Less of a general policy shift, more of a clarification for a particular edge case, perhaps.
I think that's a good way to put it. It's tail-end information.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. Thinking about this, what does it all mean for you listening? You're maybe navigating this changing world of work and rules.
Yeah, it really highlights the tension, doesn't it?
It does. You see these traditional regulations designed for, fixed locations.
Bricks and mortar.
Right. And then you have the rise of remote work, client-side services. How do those frameworks adapt? Or maybe how much do they struggle to adapt?
That's the real point to ponder.
So the final thought for you is, what does this evolving landscape mean for entrepreneurs? Does it create new, unexpected complexities? Or maybe, just maybe, new kinds of freedom from old rules? Something to think about.